This is Bootum.
And this is Simon.
I'm also known as Alex, my real name, and I'll be referred to that on this podcast at times. And this is the Per 36 podcast. Call it Per 36 because it's going to be roughly 36 minutes because no one wants to hear us rant on for an hour or too long. And it's also because Per 36 is a advanced stat that's used often for bench players, which I love and Simon love, and we'll be showing a lot of love to on this podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Per 36 podcast. I'm honored today to have... Last week we had Kris Copeland, which was pretty good, but
last week is a little generous.
All right, last week
we had a little
episode,
hiatus.
We had a hiatus.
we had a hiatus.
You know, things got in the way. It was like a month ago.
We were still recovering from the hangover of having Cope on here.
I was surprised this was the second episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just hype. We're just going. We're starting off too hot with Fredo and Cope.
Yeah. How do we
we're gonna have to have like Scott Perry on this next. All right.
My God.
But anyway, our guest today is FredoDGawd, one of the probably the best Knicks Twitter user out there.
Oh my God, that's high praise from the real Bootum on Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter.
The real Bootum and FredoDGawd. But yeah, so Fredo is a Knicks personality, I guess you call him on Twitter. He's a funny fella.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very smart guy, and he's starting up
I appreciate that.
a podcast of his own.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I'm glad to be on. As you said, I'm starting a podcast with my friend Saran. If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's the real Smooth Boy, I think. And I know his AV it's a Nets jersey, but don't think he's a Nets fan. He's really just a D'Angelo Russell bandwagoner. So he's out in Golden State now. But yeah, that should be fun. First episode this Friday.
And I bet you get this a lot, but especially, Alex knew you. He said you guys have known each other for a while, but I've just been following your Twitter for a while, and I'll be real. First few months, I was really confused about the Fredo imposter, and something needs to be done about him. Something needs to be done about him.
Fredo the fraud.
Yeah, he is Fredo the fraud, and it's awful.
I don't want to send shots out on your podcast, but
no,
I've gotten some complaints in real life about that guy. I went to a bachelor party for my friend this past summer, and my friend thought, wow, you have 12K followers, and then I have to tell him that's not me, bro. It's embarrassing. Really.
No, but your followers are I don't know. He made a tweet the other day where he was like, "Oh, I'm signing off for a bit," and everyone just made fun of him. If you did that, everyone he has fake. He has less real followers. He literally just tweets about how KD's gonna come here just so people make fun of him. He is Fredo the fraud.
He's just
I noticed something
cloud chaser.
If you're nice to everyone and don't steal things, obviously that's a rule in any part of life. People like you. I have no issue just retweeting someone or laughing at their tweet, but I think he really does take some tweets, as you see it from Holden and other guys on Twitter. But yeah, that's the last thing I'm going to talk about on him.
keep his name out of our mouth.
But
yeah, I think that's why you've become such a prominent member of the Knicks community. It's not like you have a blog or anything, though you are starting that podcast, which I'm glad about. It's just you're just a nice, funny, intelligent Knicks fan, and it's people are drawn to that, So
thank you. People just sat up on Twitter just to fucking laugh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can curse on this podcast.
Oh yeah, you can curse.
People go on Twitter
You can curse.
I guess it. Yeah, I don't know.
Funny team,
Yeah, Cope is cursing.
So,
Yeah, Cope is cursing.
Just go on there and don't take it that serious. But yeah, that guy. Yeah, if you're gonna use it for clout, everyone's gonna see right through that.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So we can start off. Straight off the bat, just with obviously the preseason game. We all have our feelings about Fizz. I don't know. I've been seeing your tweets over.
Fizdale.
Yeah.
Fizdale. Fraudale. Wait, no. I don't know. Fizdale, yeah, I don't know, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Fraudale. Fraudale's just I didn't even know if that was correct. It's really not clever at all.
And like no, but the thing
Does
is
anybody
like
say Fizdale? That's
Fizdale.
pretty good.
I mean, your tweet, no, but like
Wow, I haven't heard that one. That is
your tweet about him being good with the media, though, like I think that's a double-edged sword because yeah, like you really do need to be good with the media to be the coach of the Knicks, and he is like incredibly good with the media. But at the same time, like I get a little bit of the salesman vibe. Like I still can't.
Snake
Yeah,
oil salesman.
he is a snake oil salesman. Like I still don't know his system. Does he have a system? Like
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I feel like a month this. He said he got the bigs to bring up the ball a little bit more and take more threes, and I guess Conley got more efficient shots off of that. I really didn't see that big of a difference. They won a couple more games, so they had Marcus all in his prime, Mike Conley, Tony Allen.
I don't know. I do like that is the like one thing like last year I don't really know like last year I don't really know like what was so great about him like I mean they won 17 games so it's not like there's a lot to take away. What like the one positive I do take from Fizdale is that he did make Marcus Sol start taking threes. Like Marcus Sol does credit Fizdale for that, and that is like I don't know. But then again, last year we weren't really taking that many threes. So, but at the same time the roster sucks. So I mean I don't know. My take is pretty much the same as everyone else's. We're like give him like this year, see what he does. I'm a little pessimistic. Honestly,
I'm skeptical, but I'm hopeful. I'm not ready to just say get him out of here because like last year's roster, I don't think any coach is getting more than 25 wins out of him at all, and that's like generous. So it's
like Fredo once pointed out to me, Kevin Knox led the team in shots and in shot attempts, and just like no one's going anywhere with that, like that, like maybe Fizdale didn't do the best, but there's a limit to what you can do. So this year, there's a lot more competent players. I mean, Knox is gonna, Knox is coming off the bench now. I don't know how long that'll stand, but like there's a lot more. We added a lot more scores with Randall, Morris, Portis, Barrett.
Yeah,
a lot of fellas.
That's definitely great. I'm pessimistic about Fizdale also. I really don't think he's that good of a game plan manager, I would say. I mean, his game manager, I would just say that flat out. Yeah. His minutes have been, horrifying. You've been tweeting about the RJ Barrett minutes, and that's scary to think about.
39 minutes.
And he's using an excuse he's just 19 years old.
Yeah, that's Fibbs.
And also, do you guys remember when he was saying earlier, like how he was gonna make RJ earn it more than how he made Knox? And then he played him like I saw your tweet literally from like the 7th minute in the second quarter.
It's ridiculous. He put like, I get he's young, but it's the first game of preseason, and that's a ridiculous amount of time to be playing because RJ is a super athlete. Like I feel like he'd be a guy like Wiggins. Where, like, Fibbs is, like, playing him, like, 40 minutes a game, but he's fine. But, like, it's just ridiculous. Also, it's, like, a fatigue. I don't know. It's just not necessary. My cautiously optimistic view is that just, like, he wants to see who plays best with RJ. So he, like, wants to keep him in and throw different lineups at him. But I don't know if that's really the case. But, yeah, just going back to what you said about how he's going to make RJ earn it. I mean, he did the same thing about Knox. He's like, he said, keep what you kill. That's the thing. They say a lot of shit.
Exactly. He says all the right things. That's the frustrating thing. Exactly.
Like he said last year, keep what you kill, and then Knox is like leading the league in minutes, and leading the team in minutes, and he is not
he's not killing anything.
Yeah.
In like recent times.
Yeah.
He was one of the least efficient players of all time.
No, I mean Knox looks a lot smoother. I'd say he looks a lot stronger, but straight up. Objectively, he had like the worst rookie season ever. Like he could make a jump. Like he's 19. The Knicks did suck, but like he helped. He contributed to that sucking. He was not like some good player that was just caught in the middle. He made them suck more.
Also, like
a lot.
Like this is the other frustrating.
I kind of like that game plan for Knox, not as much for RJ Barrett, because Knox is. I think he's been playing basketball since he's been 15 years old. So, more reps, I guess, throwing him to the fire and, like, learning. Yeah. I guess it's not a bad thing. The second year, I would like to see him, like, play more off the bench and, like, learn things properly behind the vet, like Marcus Morris. But for RJ Barrett, he's been playing basketball his whole life. It's not really a skill thing. I don't know if just throwing him out there is going to benefit him that much. maybe a little bit early on, just getting accustomed to NBA games. But I think it's a better development plan for Knox, not RJ.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm like making fun of it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't really have too much of a problem with Knox playing that much. I mean, he did get like tired as the year went on, but
Yeah.
like I looked at his stats. I was like, because I do think it is good this year for him to like have to earn his minutes.
Yeah.
But last year, looking at his stats, like he really did improve. Like the more he played, the better his stats.
And I think
were.
I think it's easy for us to like look at that now, but let's say like last year, let's say Fizz, it was like the winter and he was coming off the bench. I feel like we probably would have been pissed saying like, we're playing like we're starting Dotson or Mario Hazonia over like Kevin Knox. Like let's at least give him
it's
minutes.
the same way we get mad when Frank doesn't play. Though
we could get out. We can pivot to Frank now.
Fire, bro.
Yeah. That's
where are my 40-minute Frank games?
And also
I wanna see that.
like if Fizz talks so much about defensive intensity, yet like what's his deal with Frank? Like, is he really gonna give him a fair shot, or is this all hocus pocus?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the that's another example of the snake oil salesman to start the season. Like last year, I've been talking about defense. Now we're defense first, and then it's happening again this year. We're the '90s Knicks, and we're like the best defensive team of all time. But like then last year, they played Moutier. Moutier is probably the better player, though.
Don't say it. You still can't
he's
say that.
He's so bad.
So bad.
But he was like the worst. Even though he might have been better, he's the worst defender ever. So it's just like. This is the year where like there needs to be a little less talk and like you gotta back up the talk.
They need to pick up this option. Otherwise, if this looms till like the 31st, and then if they don't pick up his option, then it's like
that's when start pairing Steve Mills though.
Yeah.
Option.
Yeah. No.
And
yeah.
That's
Obvious.
bad management if they don't pick up the option.
It'd be awful management. It's not like we're spending our like. What, we're going to rather spend that money on Wayne Ellington? Like, that's crazy.
Well, yeah. That's
crazy.
No matter what you think of Frank, and say Frank isn't that good, there is no benefit to not giving him the option. Then you're just like,
exactly.
Like, if you give him the option, there's a chance at least he improves and you're able to trade him. Exactly. Right now, his value is so low. No one's trading for, like, a year of, like, a bad Frank Ntilikina. If you give him the option... you're not taking away from the 2020 free agency.
Exactly.
Like no one, you're like I don't think we're really going going anyone anyway.
There's no one that good.
Yeah, so it's not. It's not even just like being pro Frank. It's just asset management. Like
exactly.
I think it's kind of ridiculous they haven't done it already. Like,
that's what that's what's freaking me out. Is like if they haven't done it already.
That is kind of nerve-wracking.
And
I hope it's just because they want him to like prove himself during preseason. But
I guess, but at the same time, it would be so much better if they like.
If they showed him that confidence.
Yeah, or give me the option, like, we love you, buddy. Exactly. Like, go little baby.
Like, we all say, like, we wish Frank could be more confident, but, like, they're not exactly, like, instilling confidence in him. And, like, Fultz's Orlando option, which is, like, the reason Philly traded him for nothing was because, like, his option for, like, the first overall pick is, like, a pretty big salary. They picked that up, like, the second they could. And, like, Frank has at least shown it as much as Fultz so far. Like,
I think good.
Honestly, the World Cup should have gave him that option.
It's
really his play during the World Cup should have been convinced. Let's give this guy the option. He's obviously improving. He does everything they want him to. I mean, he's obviously not a good scorer yet, but I mean, you see the improvement. Really, that should have gave him the option. We'll see how it goes, but that is kind of nerve-wracking. He hasn't got it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, we'll see what actually happens. But I think from the World Cup and from this first preseason game and the scrimmage, I mean, that's all. I mean, I feel like an idiot what I just said. But I think he's visibly improved. Like, I don't know how much he has, but his handle is just, like, easily better. And, like, he's fine. Like, there always be times where people are like, oh, he's aggressive now, he turned a new leaf. And then, like, a game later, he'd go, like, 0 for 1 and, like, he'd be benched. But, like, he seems to actually, like, actually be aggressive.
And, like, he seems like I think he's getting a little bit of, like, a mean streak, which I love. Like, even, like, his mentality, like, now he's more of an underdog. Like, I bet you his coach, like, his French coach and Strasbourg coach were telling him, like, hey, you need to get your shit together.
Yeah, he did. Like, I think the French national team coach was like, you gotta, like, show them, like, you're not the old bum.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the new bum.
Yeah, the coach said that. Fizdale invited him the French coach to practices. I don't know if it's in a show, but honestly, if if Frank doesn't get the option during preseason, when is he gonna get it? Because
that's what I'm worrying.
It sounds like they're
That's
set
what
on
I'm worrying.
Dennis Smith Jr. and Alfred Payton.
Kadeem
Starter.
If they Kadeem Allen's gonna be the death of me.
Yeah. Well, all right. I mean, I think maybe I hope this injury is the death of Kadeem Allen. Like he's not that bad. It's just like I don't need.
No one needs Kadeem Allen.
He's like 27. Like this is not a young project. Like I'm done with like Kadeem Allen and Trey Burke and Hardaway and Cannon retaining like 26 like means you're young. Like no, I'm sorry, Kadeem the Dream, but you're a little bit of a Kadeem the Nightmare. Like I need you. I don't need you to take my.
Perry's gonna try just like Hazonia last year. Perry's gonna try to give every possible chance to Peyton to prove that he's not a Scott Perry draft mistake.
Yeah, Smith. I heard Dennis Smith Jr. isn't even hurt. He's just like let's take precaution. Your back was from last year. You gotta get. No, I'm kidding. But no.
He'll be back, but.
No. He's fine.
He's gonna leave Frank out the rotation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's a concern. I mean, I think
unless they play Frank at the 2, unless he just puts him at the 2.
Even if they play him at the 2, they have R.J. Barrett, Trier. Dotson's not gonna. He's out of the rotation.
I bet you.
Fizdale likes Wayne Ellington.
Yeah, I mean, I really think Frank is a point guard because I think his best trait is his passing. I mean, I think that's why he's good with R.J. Barrett because obviously he's not like that great a point guard, but I don't know. I think Frank and RJ. I made that tweet about how RJ did better with him. I don't know how because of Frank that was, but I just think Frank and RJ is a duo because I think RJ needs the ball in his hands a lot, but he's probably not ready to be a full-time point guard.
No
I think
way.
Frank's best at point guard, but he's not really a guy you want completely running the offense.
I was wondering what do you think a DSJ Frank backcourt? Do you think that works? Or do you think it's a disaster?
Well, no.
Just like kind of like alternating, but that being a backcourt, and then RJ maybe playing like a small 3, and then
I mean that's a lineup I've thought about a lot, and I don't know, I kind of like. I mean the biggest issue to me is just DSJ, and I mean this issue is really just shooting, but also just I feel like my biggest concern, not even a Frank thing, I feel like DSJ and RJ Barrett are really redundant players, like both like. Guys who need the ball in their hands a lot, who can't shoot, and like I'm not even saying like both are like they're probably like I don't know they're probably better without each other unless DSJ is genuinely fixed his shot. If DSJ comes when even if he's fixed it a bit, he's still like shooting like 31 or 33% on 3. I just like that's just like I don't know how that lineup's gonna work.
But like, are we like if DSJ?
I mean, honestly, RJ's a little bit like Doncic in his play style. So if it didn't work with Doncic,
it's not a bad point actually.
Who's a worse shooter?
Exactly. I was gonna make that. I was thinking about that point earlier. That's my biggest concern with DSJ. When you think about the players who are easiest to play with in the league, like Doncic is like up there. Like that's a guy like obviously he's like a ball dominant player and he gets buckets, but that's a guy who's like looking to get you easy. Like buckets, he's not like hard. Like he's like a genuine like playmaker. So if DSJ can't fit next to a guy who's like a good shooter
and a
playmaker, how is he gonna fit next to RJ Barrett, who isn't a good shooter and he's a good passer, but he's not Doncic.
Yeah. I mean, my worry is like, what do we think DSJ's like ceiling is? Do we think it's Eric Bledsoe, like a worse shooting Eric Bledsoe?
I'm not really concerned about DSJ's ceiling.
No, but like what I'm saying is. This is kind of the year where we figure out does he have any place in the future, or is he gone? Like, and I'm thinking
how
many
games did Dennis Smith Jr. even play last year? Because I remember he had like that little like protest that he didn't want to play for Dallas.
Oh, that's true.
He wasn't invested in playing with Doncic, regardless.
Yeah, I mean he had a really weird season where it was in Dallas.
He took a break. He
played like 32 games in Dallas, and obviously wasn't happy. And the Mavs were like wanting to trade him. He played 32 games there, and then he came to the Knicks. He had to hit 21 games. So like I mean he had a really, so he had a really weird like second season. So like like he just like he I think is their third best prospect. But this is the year where he proves like whether he can be that guy. Like it's really interesting. I've said it a few times. Like if his shot isn't fixed, like
he's like kind of screwed. Like,
Yeah.
because I don't really know where you go
Yeah.
as a guy who's really like, I know he had a better year defending. He's still really not a good defender. Like, and if you can't shoot, this really limits you and your team on offense. But if his shot like is a little more normal and he gets it together, I mean, he could be like an all-star. It's like a really huge.
He could. No, it's like that's the
jump.
thing with him. It's like the difference between his floor and his ceiling is crazy. Like
Yeah.
I mean, if he never improves and is just like ridiculously athletic, like not a like he's not a bad defender. Weirdly enough, like he's actually a pretty good on-ball defender. I mean, we know what that is. If he can start shooting, like that's like kind of like a baby Baron Davis.
Yeah. But to be honest, I'm looking at his stats in Dallas. They're not that awful. But his second year before he went to the Knicks, he played 32 games with them, 900 minutes, but he shot 44% with Dallas in the second year and 34% from three.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was talking about last year when his shot was broke. I mean, that's what I was so weird when his shot was broken. Like people have always talked about DSJ as like a bad shooter. If he just gets back, like he doesn't need to be like a great shooter. He just needs to get back to Dallas level of being like a competent shooter. If he does that, like that's really all he needs to do. If he becomes like, if he just goes back to Dallas, 35% combined with like his crazy athleticism, like that's all you really need to. But we'll see. I mean, my concern is that DSJ, like this isn't, like we have our Frank Love Fest, but my just Frank aside, I really just think that DSJ and RJ are just kind of redundant. I think they have similar strengths and similar weaknesses. I'm just concerned about that fit if DSJ didn't like completely like become a good shooter this summer.
Yeah.
So like maybe start them together, but like I would try to separate them as much as possible and have like DSJ running with like Wayne Ellington or Frank, and then the other one with the other with like one with the other.
Like I would really like want to see him play. Like I mean, the thing about this team this year is like it's so weirdly like spread out. Where like this is for once, I would be fine with him playing like 9 guys the same amount of minutes. Like I don't really want anyone besides Mitch playing like 35 minutes. Like if you think about it, I mean
even Mitch probably doesn't play that much because he's like an energy foul prone player.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing I'm thinking about. Like, what do you think the jump Mitch can take this year is? Like we can dream about him hitting threes, but like realistically, you think it's like a Jarrett Allen year 2 thing, and like just hope he bites on less pump fakes. Like, what do you think?
Fredo, you wanna?
What was the question?
Oh, just thinking like, what do you think about like what Mitch's year 2 could look like? Like, do you think it's just the same but biting on less pump fakes and maybe hitting like an elbow jumper? Like,
I think he'll be a decent shooter. It's not something he just started working on. He's been doing it since high school. I don't know how big his jump is. I hope it's massive, really. Any little thing works towards a Carlstown trade package, so no.
Yeah.
But
it's
honestly, I hope his offense takes a bit of jump. His defense can get a little bit stronger. I don't know. It's something hard for me to say. Yeah. I don't know how many jumpers he's really going to be taking. I don't think his post game is going to take that big of a jump.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got that much stronger or worked on his game. I don't know. I think he ends up being top 3 in blocks.
Yeah.
I bet my take is he leads the league in blocks per game. I mean,
that's like, if he's leading the league in blocks as a sophomore, like we're
But
good.
the thing is, there is more to the game than that. Whiteside was like that block boy, and then like he wasn't actually that good, and then he stopped blocking shots, became better, and now he's like bad again. But I don't know. With Mitch, and really just, with Mitch, I just hope that he builds off like the end of the year when he was starting and he was like chill and he was not like fouling out of the games. Like if he just does that and makes a little bit of improvement, that'd be nice. I'm not really expecting him to like all of a sudden come out and average 15 a game.
I think Taj Gibson's gonna be a better mentor than DeAndre. Like DeAndre came in, just would stand in the paint with his arms up like this.
Yeah.
Move like a mile per hour.
Yeah, no, that's
just,
true.
Taj
is probably gonna be huge in helping Mitch like not just become like a block, so become like an actually good defender. And that
that's a great signing.
Yeah. But that's really the big thing with like I don't know, like Mitch doesn't need to shoot three. Like I'm happy to see him shoot threes. If he can shoot threes, that's insane.
But we don't need it. Like
But
it's not like in his package.
He's so much more than. I mean, there's so many things about him that just are crazy to me. His blocks are ridiculous. He's about to like invent like a new thing of like a new threat of blocking threes. Like
I know.
Like he blocked more threes than like the entire.
Well, he blocks him, and it's such a weird block too, because he blocks it at like the three's highest point.
But also he blocks it with his left hand. Like I don't know, he's a block genius. But also he also what's not to talk about is he's like a ridiculous offensive rebounder. Yeah. Like he pulls them down.
Well, yeah, it's the long arms.
Yeah, he's like a skinny boy, but he's like he's a freak at pulling down offensive rebounds. Well, but the biggest thing to me that's not talked about that much is well, obviously he has ridiculous efficiency. He shot like 70% last year. But I like watch his highlights. He's not just a dunks. Like he has some really impressive like guard-esque finishes at times.
Oh no! The one thing that's really impressive about him is like he has great touch, which is like for big men, like you don't see that often. Like Jarrett Allen looks like he's throwing a beach ball into an ocean when he tries to lay it.
He has decent touch on free throws at least.
Okay, on free throws, but like just seeing Mitch. I mean, I think Mitch might have little hands. I'm gonna look that up, but I don't think he has big hands.
I don't
and I think that plays a part into it.
I know, like, back in high school, like, if you watch his highlights, he does play like a big guard. I guess that's just how he wanted to play back then, but he has a lot of jumpers, trying to make highlight plays, so I guess that translated. He does play like a big guard sometimes. Yeah. I hope his playmaking takes a jump this year, though.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really need him to take jumpers. I just hope he, on offense in general, just does become. I just know he can be more than a dunking guy, and I know that's not even necessarily that he's becoming a shooter. He is very skilled. Like there's a lot more he could do than dunks also and threes.
It's like
he could do more than
last year. I view last year as like the equivalent of like him having like a freshman year in college. We remember like last year was his first time playing organized basketball since high school. Like that's crazy.
It is.
And so like
they're taking like a whole new route.
Yeah, and so like
I hope the G League takes a I guess becomes more serviceable to.
I mean,
these rookies.
If LaMelo actually like goes top 3 and RJ Hampton's like a first round pick, I bet you see tons of these kids going to Australia now. Like, I mean, it seems.
I think the NBA starts taking the G League more serious.
I hope.
I hope the Knicks take the G League more serious.
Yeah. Free Mike Miller.
I hope,
Mike Miller.
No, Mike Miller's on.
I know. Let's
finally got. Well, it was weird how when they were interviewing coaches, they didn't interview Mike Miller when G League.
They literally didn't interview him.
That's when Fizdale gets fired. When they start off. 10
they won't interview him. They won't interview him.
No, but he'll get that interim. He'll get the interim.
Hopefully.
Actually. I don't know. Maybe it'll be I don't know. I'm hoping he's the interim when Fizz
Royale Ivy gets promoted.
But no, but like I don't know why the Knicks are kind of weird with the G League. Like obviously they have they've had like the Burks and Cornets and whatnot, but throughout all Frank's garbage, I don't know why they never just like all right, just go to the G League and play 30 minutes a game. Like I don't know why they're
go
always
take 20 shots.
That. Like that's not something to be like frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's weird how they were a little like.
I think it's because like they like I don't know.
Talking about that first game, like I don't know why Iggy Brezdeikis didn't play. I'm not gonna like freak out over that.
No, that's what you just said. Iggy is a perfect candidate to go to the G League and put up 20 points.
I'm not happy. Like I genuinely think Iggy can contribute today, and that's just from his summer league. Like I just think, well, though his summer league did show he's more than a shooter. Like in college, he was a bad passer, and then he was, but. Yeah. If I see him getting DNP CDs behind freaking Marcus Morris, God bless him. But like
behind Wayne, if he's getting DNPs behind Wayne Ellington, there is no excuse for him not to be in the G League, putting up 17 shots a game.
He might be better than Kevin Knox right now.
He probably. I mean,
that's an awful feeling.
But yeah,
thinking that
I'm not a fan of Iggy not playing. Like with all the power forward stuff, like that's the only everyone getting complained about the power forwards. Yeah. My one gripe is just that like Iggy's probably like pushed out of the rotation because they have too many forwards. Yeah. If they just have him on the bench, like that's gonna kill me. If they let him like get buckets in the G League until the deadline, they hopefully make a move. Then fine. Good. But I mean, I genuinely think Iggy can contribute today. I mean, he's a good shooter. This team needs all the shooting it could get. In summer league, it seemed like he was a decent defender. I mean, in college, he was a good defender. I think.
And he was the best. He was the best catch and shoot shooter in the draft. I mean,
I think it's a little bit of
No, there's something.
like it's just he's a 6'7" like white guy, so you just kind of assume he's like not that athletic. But like if he, like I think he could be that boy.
No,
like
he could be that boy.
He's not. He's like he seems like a meme, but I genuinely think he's good. Like I don't know.
I think he could be better than.
He was that guy.
This is a hot take right here. This is a hot take. I think.
Oh my god. Let's hear it.
I think that Iggy could end up being a more complete NBA player than Alonzo Trier.
Oh, that's not a hot take at all. I thought it'd be
No.
I thought it'd be R.J. Barrett. Then Trier.
Oh, Trier. Yeah, it's not a hot take.
I mean, screw.
A little bit. It's a little warm, I would say.
It's warm, fine. Okay, wait.
I like Iggy.
But
if we're talking
during summer league, that was a thing. He just seems like a very complete guy. Like even when his shots weren't falling,
and his mentality.
He's the type of guy that does little things where
he's a dog.
He's like gonna put up like a 9. He reminds me of like Joe Ingles, because Joe Ingles
because he's a lefty white guy.
But, no, I mean he's a lefty white guy, but he also is a good shooter, and he's better than his stats look. Yeah. And he also has that he has the pizzazz. He has the flair.
So wait, Fredo. Yeah. This is so. If we're talking about rookie forwards, I'm gonna transition to something that I've been thinking about all summer, and no one seems to be asking this question. So I want to talk to you about it. I have since I've always liked UCLA basketball, and so I've been a big Kris Wilkes guy since the beginning, and I've had him on Snapchat since before the draft, blah, blah, blah. And there's something really fishy going on here because he's been out with a quote-unquote mystery illness since before Summer League. And on this man's story, he is working out, sweating, joking with Jalen Hands every day, like taking snap videos of like his girlfriend's ass when she walks. He is having the summer of his life. There seems to be nothing sick about him, and you'd think if it was something really serious, like we would know. But what do you think's happening here? Because they keep just saying illness, but now it's been like 3.5 months, and he seems perfectly fine. And I don't know. It seems weird to me.
I don't know. Maybe the Knicks are like sheltering him. He might. I feel bad saying this, to calling out his character. I don't know if he has bad character out of. Well, he was part of the LiAngelo China robbery thing.
Really? I didn't realize
that. Did that.
Oh, God. All right. That makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's character issues. I don't.
Oh, wait, no,
I
wait.
feel a little bit bad saying this without knowing, but.
Are we sure? Wait.
Really, the illness, maybe it's a fake illness, maybe it's the Knicks just sheltering him.
Wait,
and
Wilkes
really
wasn't.
Believe in the guy. He was top 3 in spot up scoring behind Ignis and R.J. Barrett in college. Maybe they believe in the guy, but they're trying to make him prove it to them.
You'd think like.
I mean, they still extended a contract to him for the preseason. I think it's an Exhibit 10. I don't know all the fucking names, but
I don't know. They
still have interest in him.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Simon just said he wasn't.
He was. Yeah, he wasn't one of the 3 guys.
To the weirdness.
No, he wasn't.
So Fredo's just attacking this.
He was part of that.
No, I just looked it up.
Fredo's just is dying to attack the.
The
Fredo has beef with Kris Wilkes.
Wait, no, I had to look this up.
No, look it up. Look it up. It wasn't.
All right.
But wait. First, I'm gonna read you this thing because I'm reading the Post article that Mark Berman wrote saying the Knicks summoning Kris Wilkes for new physical and last hope. So they backed out of a verbal agreement to sign him to a 2-way, but had interest in bringing him in when he was healthy enough for training camp. Now, training camp has come and gone. I mean.
No, I think they might bring back in the future too. I don't know. It's a really weird thing.
It's so vague. Like they don't say they just say
we're
illness.
being like muckrakers right now. There's some like sketchy
stuff.
No,
there is.
They're pulling off something
and no
weird.
one's asking these questions.
They're waiting for like Dotson to be. They're waiting for them to ship out Frank and Dotson before they bring him on as like an actual player. That might be something weird.
At least sign him to At least sign him to the Westchester Knicks. Like
I don't know.
He's 6'8", and he's
something
weird.
We have to like with all these Exhibit 10 like there must be something sketchy going on. They're trying to get some edge, and I guess we'll back off a bit, let them get away with it.
I just looked it up. I want to apologize to Kris Wilkes. That's Jalen Hill.
Fredo has beef with Kris Wilkes. He's attacking.
That's embarrassing.
Hopefully no one clips that.
But yeah, no, I really don't know. It's mystery illness. They said it was the flu, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm telling you, I actually made Alex add him on Snapchat like 2 weeks ago because I was like, listen, this man has no illness. I'll even look at like his story today. He's dripping sweat, like in the gym, like cracking jokes, and he was eating like eggs. Like this man.
Yeah, I just really, I don't know. I'll try to think about it more, but I really don't know what the motive is for like having him like in the back burner, but not actually using it.
This is him in the UCLA gym, working out with a video of the refrigerator drinks with the caption.
Hey, he's bedridden, all right? We don't want to get the Knicks. Put that away. We don't get the Knicks in trouble, all right? We're he's part of the cat trade package. You know, we don't gotta. It's all All right, should we go to the 36 All-Star?
Yeah.
All right, so someone who Fredo doesn't have beef. So because we are per 36, we like to shine a spotlight on some of the lesser-known players who only are All-Stars in the per 36-minute stat category. To one player Fredo does not have beef with is Chasen Randall, who I asked him about. He is our per 36 All-Star of the game.
We'll get his name right, Chasen.
No, I think I think it's Chasen. Fredo, you're our resident
Chasen Randall.
Are you?
Yeah, it's like Jason spelled Chase. Like it's weird. It's a weird name.
Are you? I mean, my big memories was I just remember hating like the shit out of that Kansas Jayhawk Andrew Wiggins team, and I remember him. I guess it was like the Sweet 16, just destroying that team.
But anyway,
with like Josh Hustis and like Anthony Brown, I think. No.
But anyway, his per 36 stats, for his career, 14 points per 36, 4.5 assists, 3 rebounds, and 4.5 steals. 4.5 fouls. My apologies.
Yeah.
With the Knicks, he averaged 15 per 36, and with the Sixers in 8 whole games, he averaged 20 points per 36. So he is our per 36 All-Star of the game day with numbers like that. I don't know, Fredo, what drew you to Chasen Randall?
I guess this is play style. I've always wanted a shooter at point guard, and he was a pretty decent one. Play off the ball. I know he's an undersized guard, but I think he went to Stanford.
He did.
Watched some of his highlights when the Knicks signed him, and I just instantly fell in love with a shooting point guard.
I remember
the Knicks have sometime pretty soon, but we'll see how that goes.
I remember that you are not the only person who is giving your endorsement to Chasen Randall. I remember that Carmelo at the time also gave his endorsement. Yeah, he was
really?
He was like, I like when Fredo told me Chasen Randall just reminds me of how screwed up the Knicks have been. That was the controversy of that training. Like right now we're talking about like Frank and Alfred Payton, which is still pretty messed up. But back then the controversy was who's gonna make the team, Ron Baker or Chasen Randall.
And then Ron Baker got $8 million. Ron Baker finessed $8 million.
And I was vehemently arguing for Ron. Well, Randall got hurt, so it kind of just went to Ron Baker anyway. The Ron Baker deserved to be a more all-around player, but they both sucked. And this was so proof of how the Knicks are messed up. And the reason why the Knicks like Chasen Randall is because he ran the triangle at Stanford. I mean, I hate the Knicks. They are so.
Also, I'm just gonna say this because you just made me think of something. You just made me think of something. I would say the wrongest I've ever been on any take on a player coming out of college was I really thought that Clee Anthony Early was gonna be the next big thing.
Well, to be fair,
until he got.
He did have.
Until he got.
Yeah, no, that was unfortunate. But yeah, Chasen Randall just represents. Chasen Randall, Ron. People are. I mean, this just shows how passionate Knicks fans are. That they're arguing Chasen Randall versus Ron Baker, and now we're doing the same goddamn thing in a way with Payton versus Frank. At least a bit more of a bit more higher tier. I mean, what I'm Payton. We are improving a bit. Is more of an up.
I mean, here's the thing. If we compare,
that's a small win.
If we compare Payton to Moutier, we can be thrilled.
That's what I treated it. Alfred Payton is gonna be this year's Moutier and Jarrett Jack, but he's like Magic Johnson compared to Jarrett Jack and Moutier. Yeah, he's a solid player. I mean, he started his whole career. If he's a backup point guard, that's pretty good. All right, should we wrap things up?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we could just hit before we shut it down.
Again,
Okay.
apologies to Kris Wilkes. Don't come for me. that was really bad.
Okay, wait. Actually, I have a question for you, Fredo, right before you go. Because this is actually something we weirdly enough haven't mentioned yet. What are we hoping for from Julius Randle? I mean, he's gonna be.
Julius Randle?
Yeah, like what are we what do you think best case scenario? I mean, because right now, like, he kind of has the rep. Like, I don't know. Before we signed him, we were all saying like, oh, it's kind of empty stats. Like,
Yeah, but then now he's a Knicks, so
So now-
he's going to be
exactly,
the next All-Star
exactly,
like Hardaway and Canada.
exactly. Now he's better than Kristaps.
Oh yeah. I mean, of course.
I also like we need a forum to get some Kristaps hate out because I don't like.
Oh, no, bro. I'm fully pushing anti-Kristaps propaganda out there.
Yeah.
I still have I might watch a ton of Mavericks games this year and just.
Or you can't. I'm gonna it's gonna be really sad. I mean, the Mavs are. I'm actually mad because the Mavs are playing right now. I gotta be hate watching them. Let me check.
Wob just pulled up. Kristaps just hit it like a 37-footer.
He
He just hit it from a logo. That's so annoying.
He's it's a fluke.
I'm just gonna
He
say
can't
this.
shoot.
Like,
Right.
I'm just gonna say before we go.
Wait, you didn't even let Fredo answer your own question.
Okay, yeah,
about
okay.
Julius Randle.
I mean, you were asking best case scenario. Best case scenario is All-Star. I don't expect that. And he's gonna average like 20, 10, and 4. 22, 10, and 4. I'll give him that. Hopefully his 3-pointer got a little bit better. I think he shot 35% last year. I mean, don't quote me on that one. Neither on the Kris.
It's like
Kris Wilkes
34%.
so I'm not really sure. But hopefully his 3-pointer got better. I'm excited for his playmaking because that's one thing I despise Kristaps Porzingis in. It's been when you brought it up again, his career high 4 assists.
Career 4 assists. Randle nearly doubled in his first game. No chemistry. He had 7 assists. Porzingis had 4. His career has 4 assists 6 times. Though right now he has 8 points in 3 minutes. So it's a little scary.
I mean,
but,
Kristaps is historically one of the worst passers of all time.
No, but I'm not gonna. Porzingis 8 points in 3 minutes. I don't care at all.
But he can score.
But he gets score for like the first week of the season. Let's see what happens by Christmas. Anyway, let's wrap things up. Fredo, well, you can find Fredo and his Knicks musings at FredoDGawd or DGawd.
D.
All right, at FredoDGawd, D as in D. And is that where they could find your upcoming podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it straight on my Twitter account and just post it straight there. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be pretty simple. Yeah, I'll have some fans on. Hopefully, Bootum here. I'll definitely invite you. And I mean, I'm inviting both of you guys, obviously.
No. Fuck me.
Yeah. Really, it's just gonna be talking to a lot of fans and just things about weekly of what's going on with the Knicks. Really, it's keep it kind of like Twitter. Podcast.
Man of the people.
Yeah, for the people.
Unlike some other Fredos out there. All right. Anyway, Fredo, thank you so much for coming on. It's been real.
That was fun. Hopefully,
it was really fun.
I'm not too much of a downgrade from Chris Copeland.
No.
I hope you guys get Steve Mills or Scott Perry next.
Steve, I've called for Steve Mills' job far too
You've
many
called
times.
for his head.
I've literally called direct. Like Scott Perry, I'm like, let's see things out. Steve Mills, I'm like, he should not have a job, like in any industry. Like he should not be allowed to like work at Subway. All right.
Let's get Steve Mills out of here.
All right. Let's
end. Daryl Morey with Scott Perry. Once he's done.
Oh yeah, Daryl Morey. Yeah, Daryl Morey. He's getting his way out of Houston. He's coming to New York. I know he loves New York. I know he loves them Broadway musicals.
We know he doesn't love James Dolan.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's wrap things up. Fredo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go Knicks. Fire Scott Perry. I mean, no, not Scott Perry.
No.
Steve Mills.
Hey, take it.
Steve Mills is gone.
Hey, Scott.
All right.
If you hear this.
Yeah, no. Scott's. We like Scott. Steve Mills, you gotta go. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Peace.